Namaskar. Today we are going to discuss about the roles and responsibility of departments and agencies in disaster management. If you see the disaster management, it starts from the grassroots to the national level. So we have the structure at the national level, state level, district level, taluka level and village level. And in all levels there is a co-opting with the different agencies, different departments. So let us today start discussion about the national, state, district level and village level, how the disaster is managed, what are the departments which are involved and what type of portfolio, what type of roles and responsibility they have towards the disaster management. Let us start with the national level. At national level, we have the National Disaster Management Authority. We have Ministry of Home Affairs, National Institute of Disaster Management and Research and Development agencies, institutions are also working for disaster management. If you see the structure of National Disaster Management Authority, we will be finding how better the different agencies are involved for disaster management, how they are coordinating, how they are co-opting for different issues towards the disaster. Here the structure, you can see the national structure, not only the line departments, not only the state departments and the state government and district level departments and the district level authority, they are involved, but also we are finding that the armed forces, might be technical institutions, research organizations, even corporate sectors, professional bodies, NGOs, they are equally participating at all levels. Not only that, we have the cabinet committees for management of natural calamities, we have the cabinet committee of security working towards it, and National Crisis Management Committee, they are also involved at the national level. And if you see vertically down, we are finding that the government of India is at the top and community is absolutely at the bottom, and all what we are going to do, we are going to do it for the community. But in between, there is a National Disaster Management Authority, a State Disaster Management Authority, District Level Disaster Management Authority. If you see the diagram which has been taken from the National Disaster Management Authority structure, left side the Cabinet Committee on Management of Natural Calamities, National Crisis Management Committee, Ministry of Home Affairs and other ministries of the Government of India, Armed Forces and all academic and technical research bodies, they are at different level, they are matching and they are cooperating and coordinating for different levels of authority. In right side you can see the developed by the Government of India, National Institute of Disaster Management, National Disaster Response Force, National Disaster Mitigation Resource Centers, they are parallelly working at the state level, national level and the district level. If you see the national authority, 9 members are there. Among 9, 1 member is the vice chairman and the chairman is the prime minister. We have the advisory committee and national executive committee. And the role of advisory committee is primarily provide advocacy, provide some sort of advice for what should be the way of making the national policy for disaster management. Also we have the national executive committee, which is headed by, and the chairperson is the Secretary of Ministry of Home Affairs. There are 14 ministries, all secretaries to those ministries, they are the members of the National Executive Committee, and this is the basic structure for national authority. Let us come to the state level authority. In the state level authority, similar to the national level, we have the State Disaster Management Authority, Department of Disaster Management or Relief Department or Research and Developmental institutions are there. Earlier we have discussed about the National Disaster Management Authority. Now let us discuss about the State Authority for Disaster Management. Similar to the structure of NDMA, SDMA is also having the chairman and the chief minister elected representative. He is the chairman of that State Disaster Management Authority. We have here the members, 8 members are there. Among 8, one will be the vice chairman of that particular authority, and all functions, roles and responsibility of chairperson, it will be executed by the vice chairman, and 7 further members will be there for helping the government to authority to plan, to approve, to monitor the activities of disaster management. Advisory committee, they have the same role as the national body is having, and a state executive committee, the chief secretary of the state, he is the chairperson, and there will be 4 members who will be the members of the state executive committee. I will be just quoting one example which has been developed by government of Maharashtra, and in the Emergency Operations Center manual we can find that what should be the way of structure of a state authority for disaster response. We can have a look on the slide. The chief secretary, relief commissioner, they are primarily governing the disaster response from the Emergency Operations Center, and at the same time the different ministries, different central government departments like your defense, railway, All India Radio, might be your international aid agencies, they will be laterally helping the state chief minister, chief secretary and relief commissioners towards the disaster response. You will be having the Emergency Operations Center. In Emergency Operations Center, there will be n number of departments who will be sending their representatives, and whatever the requirement is there, that particular department will be looking into. Like you may have the revenue department, home department, medical, finance, PWD, irrigation, civil supply, maybe your forest department, industry, housing, agriculture, urban development, rural development, labor, water supply, might be your urban local bodies are there, and state level NGOs and CBOs and Red Cross and some sort of organizations, they will be working together, and they will further go down toward the district disaster management. At the district level, district collector or resident deputy collector, he will be looking after all district level emergency operations center, and there also the revenue department, police, home guard, or you can say police irrigation department, PWD, RTO, industry, and so many other departments which are existing in the district level, they will be totally coordinating, and they will be looking for wherever the disaster has taken place, what activities are required to be taken. If you see the activities during the disaster response, even primarily we can categorize into 9 types, like search and rescue, it might be medical aid, disposal of deads, temporary shelters, health and sanitation, carcass disposal, infrastructure restoration, and the cattle camps. In all these activities, not only one department is involved. There are n number of departments, they are somehow interlinked, and they are providing support to the site operations center where the disaster has taken place. For example, search and rescue. Search and rescue, you are finding that revenue is there, police department is there, health, irrigation, PWD, fire brigade, NGOs, and other local bodies are involved in search and rescue operations. Similarly, for the other activities like temporary shelters, there are n number of other departments, they are involved for response. So this is the basic structure which is existing in Maharashtra, and mostly same type of structure it is followed in all the states of the country, India. Now let us come to we have discussed about the State Disaster Management Authority, Department of Disaster Management or Relief Department. So whenever there is a disaster and there are certain support, some sort of financial support or logistical support is required, it is basically the Department of Relief and Rehabilitation or Department of Revenue or Department of Disaster Management, they are supporting the activity and whatever the resources are required, and all the states are having their disaster management or relief department, and they are looking into all the activities of disaster management. Also, once we are talking about the State Disaster Management Authority, who is going to support that authority? It is basically your Department of Disaster Management or Relief Department. They are going to provide all support to the state disaster management authority. Also, you require to have certain cutting edge on disaster management. Maybe there are certain research bodies or developmental institutions are there who are looking after the disaster response or activities or the management, how better we can manage it. So for that, Government of India has supported each state to establish a cell in their administrative training institutions, and the basic objective and the charter of that particular cell is to create awareness, to do some sort of research activity, developmental activities, and also some documentations on disaster management, training and capacity building, conducting workshops. These activities are done in each state, and they are looking after all disaster management activities, and how better our stakeholders, our community are aware, or they are aware about how to go about once the disaster comes. So this is done at the state level. Now let us come to the district level. District level, you have the District Disaster Management Authority, Department of Disaster Management, might be, we can say, Revenue Department in the district. They are looking after the disaster management, and also you have the research and developmental institutions involved in that. Then just let us have a look on the structure of District Disaster Management Authority. You know, the chairperson will be the collector, and similar to the national level, state level, we will be having the core members, advisory committee, executive committee. So core members, your elected representative of local authority or ZP, he will be the co-chairperson, CEO, SP, CMO, and two more members, they will be nominated by the collector, who is the chairman, and they will be working as a team of the members, looking for approving, looking for framing up the disaster management activities in the district level. Then coming to the district executive committee, there the chairperson will be your RDC or additional collector. Let us have a look. If the disaster takes place, what will be the structure, how they are going to respond to the structure, what is the structure of disaster management at the district level. So District Emergency Management Planning Committee is the apex body which is looking after all the disaster management activities, sanctioning, taking decision, and they are in fact supported and provided all support by the defense forces, might be railways, civil aviation, or other central specialized departments. Further coming down, vertically down, district crisis group will be there, which will be headed by the collector, of course, and time to time there is always a DCG meetings are there, review the activities, what is going on, how basic preparedness should be there for disaster. That is taken up by the district crisis group, and police and paramilitary forces are always working at the state district level, and district emergency control room is the base from where all phases of disaster management, all activities are taken up under this particular DECR, that is the district emergency control room. If you see inside, then you will be finding that there are specific cells. Primarily it is very flexible system, but mostly we look for the search and rescue evacuation cell, logistics and welfare, medical and health, and infrastructure. So these are the 4 cells which are working at the district emergency control room, and you know, we have discussed about it, what should be the structure at the district level for search rescue evacuation. Your revenue, police department, PWD, might be local urban bodies and other departments, they will be involved. Logistics and welfare, revenue department, ZP, PWD, irrigation, water resource department, they will be involved. Medical and health, ZP, health department, they will be involved, and local bodies also, local hospitals, they will be involved. So similarly, for different functions, different type of group of people, different departments will be involved. If you go further down below district emergency control room, you will be finding that at taluka level there will be a site operation center. Site operation center will be almost a replica of same what we are looking at emergency district emergency control room, where you will be finding the different cells for search, rescue, evacuation, first aid and medical help, construction of temporary shelters, clearance of debris, damage and need assessment, finance relief, disposal of carcass, coordination, law and order, and food and water supply. So this is all what we have seen, that at the national level, state level and district level, what should be the structure, how it should look like, and what we need to do. Then what are the common practices also? Then common responsibility of all departments. Let us come down to the district level and see that what roles and responsibility all departments will be having for disaster management. All departments, they require to assess the hazard, vulnerability and risk, and work out what resources you have for disaster response. It is not the only responsibility of one department, but it is the responsibility of all departments to completely work out what resources they have which can be utilized for disaster response. Work out organizational and manpower requirement to perform the response functions during emergencies. Spell out emergency communication plan and requirements for interdepartmental coordination. What should be the emergency communication plan? Who will be reporting to whom? What is the state-of-art advanced communication system which will be required? And interdepartmental, how you will be having the interdepartmental coordination. These things are few responsibility of all departments. Then tie up with the controlling mechanism at taluka and district level through their respective EOC and ICS. Know own manpower requirements and responsibility as a part of overall incident command system. Prepare standard operating procedures and make departmental disaster management plans. Now let us see one by one, very briefly, what roles the different departments are having prior to disaster. Few departments, I am just going to spell it out. We will discuss about it, and other departments are also having their prime roles, but let us start with the irrigation department. What are the irrigation department's role? It is basically the identification of flood lines and working out time lag between warning and event occurrence. It is the responsibility of irrigation department that warning communication system can be channelized. How much water has been released from the dam, how much time it will take to travel and reach to the potential affected area. This is the basic job of irrigation department. Deploy warning and communication system to the all dams and bunds, rainfall measurement and water level measurement and intelligence exchange. Like if water is exceeding to 80%, then you have to alert warning, you have to provide warning to the low-lying areas. Desilting operations, rehearse emergency operation of sluice gates, tie up with the district disaster management authority, EMMRC efforts for different incident command system patterns. Now building construction department, what they can do during the peace time. Continuous inspection of buildings and infrastructure to assess strength. Now if you see, the country is having 4 zones and the seismicity of the area and the country, it is increasing day by day, and many of the houses which has been made pre-code period, they will not be having much of the strength to resist the dynamism of the disasters. So in that particular situation, there is a requirement that the initiatives have to be taken by building construction departments and look at what is the vulnerability of those buildings which have been made earlier to the codal provisions. Resource identification and positioning, identification of sources that can provide various resources. You have to also work it out. Suppose if you require crane, bulldozers, what are the resources, what are the areas from where you can pull those things, and the EMMRC manpower for undertaking the incident command systems as per the district disaster management plan authority plans. Then what police can do? We find that police plays a major role in all crisis situation, incidental situation, and role starts with intelligence collection. What data is required to be collected, and resource identification in different areas as per own hazard, vulnerability and risk analysis, co-opting in emergency operations center for communication, because till date we are finding that the department like police is having a very good and systematic communication command system. So during the disaster, those particular command system are greatly used, widely used, so that can be used for emergency operations center also. Train manpower for various laws and order related to functions. Hold spare communication resources and operate communication network. Other roles might be your formulate own structure for providing ICS during the law and order situation or terrorism related issues. Plan VIP security for different occasions and various places for various levels. Work out reporting format and work out logistic form own outfit during the emergency. So this is basically police department what they are going to do. Then come to the revenue department. It is the basic nodal department and acts as the coordinating agency for disaster management planning and coordination of plans. Operate emergency operations center at the state level, district level and taluka level. Prepare own incident command system options. Update land records continuously and agricultural information, co-opting with the other agencies and hold the database. Identify a space for relief camp, keep statistical data of resources required and scaling updated. All response agencies apart from your revenue, police and others what we have talked about, what the other response agencies can do. They can go for resource identification, work out different response options at different places and for different incidents. Rehearse and train the manpower and equipment, coordinate with the EOC at different level, formulate own incident command system in conjunction with the emergency operation system. Warning agency might be IMD, CWC, your irrigation department, revenue department, police department, somehow they are linked up with the warning communication. So what they need to do, keep warning system deployed and manned, carry out continuous communication checks. Apart from that, you have now the authorities, they are the district authorities and the state authorities. What they can do, they can hold the mitigation and response funds allotted. Utilize the mitigation funds for upgrading it in awareness, equipment availability, training of government stakeholders, strengthening of prevention infrastructure and mitigating structure. Coordinating all DM plans and update them time to time with respect to the development. Operate EOC, Emergency Operations Center whole year and coordinate with the central government, NGOs, corporate and industries. So this was basic responsibility of various departments prior to disaster. But let us come to the point where disaster had taken place and what departments are having different roles. Maybe your revenue department, they are the nodal departments, so they are the basic responsible for issuing the warning to the affected areas. Trigger response mechanism through their emergency operations center, because if area is going to be flooded within 5 hours of time, this is the revenue department which triggers the response mechanism, that within 4 hours of time people should be evacuated from the area, and also they are required to activate the incident command system and site operations center. Ask for co-opting agency to deploy. They can instruct that the co-opting agency to come into picture and they start participating and supporting the District Disaster Management Authority and Emergency Operations Center. Coordinate, control all search, rescue and relief measures. Deploy the disaster response fund suitably and account for it. Order damage assessment and compensation, reimbursement and reporting and recording the events. Now come to the irrigation department. Issue flood warning. Continuous inspection of dams in case of earthquakes, cyclones and explosions, help in evacuation during the floods and earthquake, and operate boats if available for the and required for the rescue work. Police department, they have the nodal role to play, cordon and search, security of affected areas, security of incident command system and site operations center, VIP management, investment and interrogation, elementary rescue relief duties for own personnel and victims, bomb disposal, operating communication network, reaching the site and initial reporting and initial establishment of site operations center, incident command system and handing over to the competent authority. maintaining law and order and providing mobile columns. These are the few roles of police department. Building and construction department, route clearance after floods and landslides, earthquakes, debris clearance, helping in damage assessment, manning the emergency operation center whenever it is required. Response agencies like the fire brigade, home guard, civil defense, paramilitary forces, they are having major role to play, and they are basically operating the site operation center within the jurisdiction, search and rescue operation, immediate relief, reporting and accounting. So here we have seen that how the organization structure it is existing for disaster management at the national level, state level, district level, taluka level and village level. What is the structure now as per the National Disaster Management Act 2005? What are the departments involved in pre-disaster phase, during disaster phase, and what they can play a role, and how and what they can do, that we have discussed in this particular lecture. Thank you very much.